But then even the announcer saying that'll get Barrie Wrestling behind you. You're thinking too much. Even I can't not go there because I'm trying.
I've given
to
up on there being
figure out.
faces and heels.
I mean,
just give up on it. It's over.
I'm the one star, Caden Felix, and right now I'm gonna be your host, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Marvelous James Runyan. Join us as we cast as cast can.
And we're back for another Cast as Cast Can podcast. You cast the questions, we find the truth. And we've got a lot of fun stuff planned for today. We're going to get to a lot of truths. I'm Mr. Marvelous James Runyan, and I'm joined by my co-host, the one-star Caden Felix. So we got a lot of tremendous backlash again from the last episode, and we're not going to keep going on about it because this isn't about the.
This isn't the Steve Brown
show.
This
isn't the Steve Brown show.
This is the Brown Stain show. And we're going to talk about more Brown Stains.
We got more Brown Stains
later, but today we're going to try something different. We're going to throw another Brown Stain at the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah. So what's the official title we got?
So today we've got a
Buried
review.
Alive, the Buried Alive review. Buried Alive Wrestling review.
I don't think we're burying anything, but the Barrie comes from Barrie Wrestling.
It's a funny pun, isn't it?
So remember, we don't go into business for ourselves. We don't sling mud. We don't bury anybody, but it was put forth out there as a request from Barrie Wrestling for the fans and viewers to choose the best match of the year. So we did that.
Yeah, so we thought this would be a fun activity to go through. They posted 5 matches for their match of the year candidates, and we're gonna go through them all.
We watched them all,
and
we listen. We did our auspicious autistic analysis as we always do. We've got a lot of notes here to go through. It might take a while, but we're gonna do it for you.
You're gonna saddle up, park your butt, and enjoy, because I think even a lot of people learned some stuff too.
Absolutely. And one thing I want to point out here is that with Barrie Wrestling, a lot of these individuals, you might find that they tend to be, unlike myself, politically left-leaning. And they get into some of these idea of politics of punching up and punching down. And we're going to be throwing some punches. Are we punching up or down? Let us know in the comments if we're criticizing Barrie Wrestling.
We're definitely punching down.
I think a lot of people might think we're punching up because a lot of people in those comments said, I don't get booked and I'm envious and this and that. But I'm just going to apply logic and reason like we always do, like even a 5-year-old could, because you put out the call to action, Barrie Wrestling, and now we're going to let you deal with it.
Well, and here's the thing too, and we said this in the first episode, but I want to say it again: is that I have a lot of personal opinions of the people that are in these matches. And
all
Vegas, some of them.
So many Vegas. Well, is there a promotion with more Vegas than Barrie Wrestling?
But I think the personal opinions won't influence or didn't influence
Absolutely
what we thought,
not.
and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to explain why.
If you know who you are watching this, you know who you are in these matches, and you know me, and I know you, and we have our personal issues, you'll be very interested to see personally, and I'm talking to one person individual, maybe a couple who know, about what my favorite match is. And there was nothing personal involved with my choice, because if it was about that, I wouldn't choose the match I did.
So we watched these matches in the order of most recent posted. So if you go on Barrie Wrestling YouTube, there's a little give the rub. You go on Barrie Wrestling YouTube, you'll see in order from most recent to the I guess the oldest. But
and you'll see the order we do it in.
The first match, we have a triple threat with Richie Rich.
Kaz
is Kaz or Richie Rich?
Kaz, I heard the name Kaz.
I heard Richie.
I never
Rich.
heard of him before I wrote Kaz.
Okay, and then we got the Golden Gun Mark Wheeler.
Yep.
And we got Gabriel Fuerza, the Devil.
Now, the first thing I want to say about this match, Runyan, is that this is a 3-way. And to quote Mike Clark, these are retarded They're stupid. They're gay. Whatever the fuck you want to say they are. They are. Whatever derogatory term you want to use. There's no disqualification. There's no heat. There's no count out by nature in these matches. They're not symmetrical. They're so stupid. The first ever three-way match was when ECW, with a heavy amount of storyline, having these three individuals clashing together, and it was bastardized from then on. WWE used it effectively in a similar way. I think Savio Vega, Stone Cold were involved in some of the first three-way multi-man matches there. But then it was even bastardized. It's been bastardized everywhere, and I don't like it.
Well, and it seems like the story is often thrown to the wayside when it comes to independent wrestling.
Yeah.
And yeah, like when if you're watching this match cold, which I am, and I'm pretty sure you are, because like I've seen matches from Barrie Wrestling, but I definitely don't follow it month to month and know the storylines. Like I don't know, there wasn't any story, and you know what? Even the announcers didn't really expound on that too much to give
And it
context.
doesn't seem like there was something in particular that made this three-way match called for. I mean, again, it being asymmetrical, that means usually in a match there's a winner and a loser. And you can go in directions from there in terms of win-loss records and whatever else and number one contenderships. But in a three-way, there's the X factor of a person who's out of the equation. And their story, they've been cheated, whatever. And why is there three people in this match? And what is going to come of the individual who was slighted? No comment about this was made. And I tend to think they have a lot of multi-man matches on these shows if it's anything like these super indie shows I'm so used to.
And I think the biggest point that you hit on that I agree with is that it's not symmetrical, it's asymmetrical.
Yeah.
And like a wrestling match is between two people, or you do a tag team, which is four
binary.
people, but
Face,
binary.
heel,
Yes.
winner, loser.
And yeah,
Easy storytelling.
Heels, baby faces. The stories are...
they're making it more complicated, and they're
simple.
not capitalizing on the way that they could because of that.
Yes. So, I
think we should just get into it.
You've run a bunch of shows. You ran more. I ran a couple shows.
We had
you ran
TV
more.
for
But
years.
you've never booked a triple threat.
Let me
is that
tell
right?
you this. No. And we booked. Here's the thing. VCW. This is a little bit of a tangent, but when we had VCW on Rogers TV, which I was the booker for, Victory Commonwealth Wrestling, which was a throwback, sort of retro, sort of winky, tongue-in-cheek promotion. We had one triple threat match while I was booker.
How many years did you run?
We had one triple threat match in I think at least 5 years.
So yeah.
And one show a month, if not minimum one show a month. We had one triple threat match, and it was when Mysterion was disappointed with his stable, Mysterion's Den, and he made them fight it out, and one of them was going to be kicked out. And it was Prince Saeed, the Butcher of Khartoum, and the third member, it was Reza, if you know Reza. It was
Reza.
them three, and somebody was going to be kicked out, and that was it. And that was the one. And because there was a storyline behind it, and they were fighting for the spot in Mysterion's Den, it was some intrigue, and that was it.
And in this case, this is up for match of the year contenders. So I think
This is match of the year.
They seem to do these a lot.
And there's no storyline involved that they have made
Yeah.
clear. Anyhow, let's get into it.
You want to get into the nuts and bolts here?
So the first thing I noticed with this match, we're going with whatever it's included in the footage, and it was the entrances. And the first thing I didn't like, you can see here, I highlighted everything I liked in my notes here. Everyone threw their gear on the floor. So there's no respect being shown for your custom gear as a professional. You're just throwing it on the floor, and that's disgusting. And even people in the highest level in WWE do this, and I think it's terrible.
Well, and about the entrances, I think it's paramount that you establish heels and baby faces, and I couldn't really get much of anything off of anybody. I had some thoughts, but then as the match kind of went on, I realized that my thoughts were incorrect. Cause
I'll say
when Kaz came out, I thought Kaz was a baby face, but I think he was a heel. But then I don't know if he was a heel, because then he did things that a baby face would do.
I'm not going to judge their entrances based on thinking they're face or heel, but I say the
But I think it
entrances
should
were
be
good. Let
comprehensible.
me just finish here. I do too, but I'm just going to say I liked them all. I thought they were a strong entrance with good beauty shots, especially Fuerza's. Fuerza's I actually really liked. I dig the whole sort of the poncho, the good, the bad, and the ugly, spaghetti western sort of down south Mexican devil heel in the poncho. I like that. I dig it. I liked it in the entrance.
What makes him the devil, though?
Well, that remains to be seen, but I like the entrance.
Well,
and the match
fair
will
enough.
prove that for us. The entrance, I was vibing. I was open to it. All right?
And what's the golden gun?
Yeah, I mean, that's something to be expounded upon in promos, in social media material,
Or the announcers.
in moves, and the announcers, and anything else.
The announcers just kind of didn't add much. Just
Agreed.
That,
But I think, they were interesting enough that I wanted to pay attention, and I'll give them all that.
okay, fair enough.
All right. Now moving on here, the first thing we see in this match, during the entrances again, throwing the gear. So Fuerza throws his poncho, it lands on the ropes, it's blocking the view, it's landing on the ropes on the hard cam side. Whoever's collecting the gear doesn't collect it. It's obstructing the view. The ref doesn't mess with it. The ref has other things to do. Whoever collects the gear, you need to be protecting that camera view. You need to be on top of these things. It was something that left a lot to be desired.
I mean, you're not wrong. So,
So as far as ding, 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 you know what? A lot of the time they say in pro wrestling, I mean, it was made famous, I think, on Bruce Pritchard's podcast. He says, unfortunately, the bell's got a ring with some people.
Well, we started out and it just seemed like a lot of choreographed stuff with no realistic attempt to win.
Definitely a lot of thought put into it and super choreographed. It was they went right into a three-way spot, which is one guy has the headlock, on the other guy who's headlocked, and then the guy's in the middle, and he's stacked between, and the third guy is waist-locking the guy in the headlock. Mm-hmm. And the guy with the waist-lock here was Kaz. And Kaz, who is, I don't know, is he the smallest guy? Is he tied with the smallest guy with Fuerza? I don't know. But he's strong enough to push the biggest guy in the match and Fuerza away. He pushes both men with super strength. So he shows super strength, but then he shows super retardation because no intelligence. He gets steamrolled off pushing both men. So in one hand he's Superman, but in the other hand he's a fool.
Well, and I think that's a big point that was prevalent throughout the entire match, is that there's no attention to detail and realism, but there was no effort made either. And
Absolutely.
Here's the thing: anyone that I've trained with, that like they trained me, mentored me, I've worked with, all of them, it's unanimous. They all stress that it has to be believable, and there just wasn't a lot of believableness in this match.
Absolutely. And again, I'm acknowledging everything I liked. I already did some already. What I liked here was...
It was well executed,
So one thing about pretty much all of these matches in Barrie Wrestling, everything was super safe. Everything was super technically well executed. Yeah. It looked like, a video game. It looked perfect.
They probably got it from a video game.
Right? And here's one thing I like that you don't necessarily even see in a video game. That I like that you don't see every day. Kaz caught Wheeler with a drop down. I liked it. You don't see it every day. Fuerza capitalizes. Good for you.
But then they went into this waterfall of pinfalls, right?
So that was one good positive point, and yes, let's continue.
I mean,
waterfall pinfalls.
But here's the thing: they're pinning each other and taking turns pinning each other. Well, the third person kind of just stands there and watches them potentially lose the match.
Yeah, it was like one of those old low budget kung fu movies where like guys are waiting in the back for their moment. Just fucking beat up the motherfucker at once. Anyhow, then you get the preposterous triple lockup, which has no semblance or basis in reality. We all decided, okay, we're all three of us here, so let's lock up in this way that makes no sense and no one of us could really get an advantage from and has no basis in reality. And smartly, Kaz does an eye poke here. And again, a good memorable moment for Kaz.
Well, and it's funny that you said smartly, because the other problem with the triple threats is that there's no rules.
Is he being a heel? To me, he's just being smart.
You can't get any heat from breaking a rule that doesn't exist.
Exactly, because let's say, comparing it to, say, a Roddy Piper who used a lot of eye pokes, one of the more famous wrestlers who did that, when he's a heel, the difference between face and heel Piper, as a heel, he would hide those eye pokes. He'd do it when the ref is not looking. As a babyface, he'd do it blatantly. He's just a badass who doesn't care about the rules, and he's just eye-raking because it suits him. And here he's coming across, Kaz is coming across as a Roddy Piper. He's just eye raking because it suits him. It's very memorable.
Yeah, but this is the thing. So off his entrance, I thought he was a babyface, but then he starts poking people in the
But
eyes.
it's not heel because it's allowed.
I mean, yeah, and this is where the confusion
For
sets in.
I'm not confused. I mean, I'm viewing it because let me just finish, please. Runyan, let me tell you where I'm coming from. I'm just viewing it. They're all baby faces, and like because you can't be a heel. Like, and I have no context.
I don't
Is that
know.
fair to say?
I mean, but I think that's probably the better way to take it. But see, I'm still
I don't
trying.
like assuming.
I'm trying to understand what they're going for. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, I get that, and I guess we'll just have to continue in that regard.
Yeah,
we can't overthink
but then
this.
we're
got, overthinking this already.
We got some your turn, my turn stuff, which I don't
Yeah.
like, but it's kind of inevitable when you got asymmetrical three guys, where they all just kind of take turns going in the ring and doing stuff.
So here we get this weird thing where Kaz is in control. Wheeler takes control, and then we're seeing a high-flying move. So here is what we should be seeing from Wheeler, which is showing his strength. And he catches Kaz, but then weirdly Kaz, like, just so inconsistent with Kaz being smart, Kaz being super strong, he does the exact same spot again. At least we're seeing some escalation here, because when Wheeler catches him, he escalates the offense. And if Kaz trying to look like an idiot, mission accomplished. You pushed both guys into the ropes with your super strength. You did the same spot twice and got punished worse.
I mean, then there's just no logic to it. If it didn't work the first time, why would you try it again? And you know what? The announcer, the announcer even noticed and buried him for it. Like, he went for it twice.
Yeah. And it was a stalling suplex, which is a move. Listen, again, my own personal taste. I think the stalling suplex is a stupid move. The hanging vertical suplex. But you know what? I do it as a heel. I'll let Runyan pick me up and hold me in the stalling suplex because it seems the audience usually likes it and reacts to it. And that's my personal taste, and I'm not letting that influence things, and that was a good escalation of things here.
But then let's factor in that there's a third person. When you're doing the stalling suplex, you have to consider that you're kind of delaying it and trying to get heat off of it.
That's very fair.
But then you got a third person that you're not considering.
And Fuerza, I'm going to put this over. He comes in with a nice, beautiful senton, breaking that pin. So that was nice.
Yeah, that
well
was nice.
Done. Smartly done. I like it.
Again, there's a lot of good execution.
But then next, Fuerza hits that preposterous Japanese arm drag, which is basically the only point of contact is elbows. And we've got the biggest guy in the match with the smallest guy in the match. And Fuerza is just throwing him up like a powder puff with that Japanese arm drag.
And it's again, no logic, no realism. It's just this is wrestling. And
there's a good rope walk move here, head scissors.
Yeah,
and
okay.
An arm drag on
So,
both men.
but
Nice
with the rope walk, like okay, why is Fuerza the devil? Because he goes up at the top rope and tells people he's the devil?
There's so much we can dig into. I focused on certain things. Obviously, you did yourself. I'm not disagreeing.
Well, I mean, and this is why we were doing this, because I think if we get two different perspectives and two different things to expound on. So, thumbs up and subscribe, and we can.
And since this is a separate one episode, this is my number one golden glug of the week. This is the dive miss. I like this dive miss by Fuerza. He goes for a dive here. He slips through the ropes. He showed intelligence by landing on his feet, and then the two on the end of the dive, they weren't waiting there like they're waiting to be landed on, like you see so many times. They moved out of the way, and Kaz shows some intelligence by throwing Fuerza into the rail and Wheeler into the post. Number one of the week. Let's go.
I just wrote move sequences because that was it. It was just kind of them going and doing.
I want to make a note here though that right after this happens, Runyan, the commentators are repeatedly making claims that Fuerza is the best in the world.
Oh yeah, he's the best.
And they're doing this as Fuerza is the one selling, and Kaz is bringing Wheeler into the ring. So they're not commentating on what they're seeing. Kaz is in control of Wheeler, and they're saying Fuerza is the best. And Kaz puts the heat on Wheeler in the ring as they're doing this. And then Fuerza is getting cut off as he's coming into the ring. He's not sneaking up behind two guys, which you could easily do. He's coming in and looking at the offense that's coming in, hitting him into the face, as they're saying he's the best in the world. And he's obviously the dumbest in this match. I mean, on the one hand, Kaz is showing he's the dumbest in this match. And on the other hand, he's showing he's the smartest. But Fuerza's putting up a good fight for being the dumbest in this match. And on that note, go ahead, Runyan. What do you have to say?
I got a Wheeler calls for a super kick, and the audience didn't really seem too into it. But it's again with the problem with triple threats is there's no emotional investment, so it's just them going up and doing stuff.
And speaking of which,
and it's not even believable. Like, at least if it was believable, then the audience could at least get into it. Whoa, these guys are actually fighting each other.
The commentators put an effort in this regard. They say Kaz has turned a new leaf at one point.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, maybe did he do something that's babyface? But it's like, there's no baby faces, there's no heels, there's no disqualification. He hasn't hid any of his rule-bending actions. So what has he done to deserve that comment? He has not broke the rules.
And they don't expound any kind of context.
Exactly.
Which makes me wonder if they don't understand what the context is, or maybe they're just assuming that the audience knows, because we didn't know.
And then on a similar note, Wheeler has the opportunity to sneak up on Taz here. Wheeler is the one showing the most babyface attributes, but he's also showing the most, they're all contending for stupid attributes here. He waist locks. He has the opportunity to receipt this motherfucker who's been eye-raking, who's been doing dastardly shit, throwing people to the outside. He's got him from behind. I'll waist lock you. Not only does he hold the waist lock for too long, then Kaz smartly elbows him. You could have waist-locked him. You could have shown your intelligence and your strength, but you waist-lock him like it's a pre-planned spot, which it obviously is. And Kaz smartly, again, the smartest, most memorable guy in this match, boom, elbows to counter. Fuerza blocks a punch by Kaz. All right, so let me make this clear. Kaz comes with the punch. Fuerza blocks it. He has his other arm reared back, and then, with barely any body language, he eye-rakes Kaz. That you could barely see on the TV camera. There's no body language to indicate it to that beyond anyone beyond 3 people in the crowd. It was a terrible visual, but it had some potential as a spot.
Yeah, I think when you're wrestling, you always want to make everything visual, because you're playing to the audience.
You're playing to that nosebleed
point.
section. You're playing to that TV crowd.
Well, I don't think there was a nosebleed section there today.
You're playing to that person watching on their smartphone at a distance like this.
But regardless, yeah, if you're doing this correctly, you're making everything bigger, and you're getting mileage out of the things you do.
Wheeler pokes Kaz in the other eye. It's very cute. Now he's blind, and it's again another memorable moment for Kaz. Now he's selling both eyes. Way to go, Kaz! You created the most memorable moments for yourself in this match, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, and I think we talked about the eye pokes kind of being meaningless, but at least they knew enough to pay it off, because that's like, if you set something up, you want to pay it off.
It's all paying off for Kaz coming across as the most memorable guy. We get a double super kick here. There's a stare down now between Wheeler and Fuerza, so I'm to assume there's a history there. But then they do the double line, and again we've shown Fuerza, the smallest guy in this match, hitting the Japanese arm drag, bastardizing the size of Wheeler. And here it's done again, because they double line each other and nobody bumps. They do it a few times, in fact, don't they, Runyan?
Well, it's the thing, like, it didn't really make any sense, because they did it, and then they did it again, then they did it again, and then...
And then finally, one of them starts selling, and it's Fuerza, okay? Thankfully.
It's like a muted cell.
But he doesn't bump. He's selling his arm. He's not selling the pain of being clotheslined. He's selling the effort that he was giving the biggest brick house in the match. Clotheslines with his arm. So he's selling his arm. And he's down on his knees. He's in such pain from this clothesline and not being hit in the throat or the chest that he's selling his arm on his knees, which is preposterous as it is, but it gets even more preposterous if you can believe it.
Yeah, so we keep going. And,
so now Fuerza, Wheeler is berating him. Is that right? That's fine.
Oh yeah, so this is
that's acceptable.
Well, no, but it's what happened next that kind of got confusing.
Fuerza gets up from the one knee, selling the arm, and remember, it's the arm he was selling that it's so painful that he has to drop to a knee that he pushes Wheeler.
He's like selectively selling.
He selectively
He
sells
just gets up. He just gets up and he tells Wheeler to
and
hit
now
the
the arm
ropes.
is fine.
And the arm's fine, yeah.
And now he's pushing Wheeler with that arm that was so painful that he's grabbing it and dropping it to his knees. Wheeler goes with it. He hits the ropes after being challenged by Fuerza. And what happens?
Wheeler walks into a Hurricane Rana.
Wheeler, I think he has to take the reward for the biggest
stupid
idiot
test.
in this match. And he gets Rona'd. All right? And it's going to get worse for Wheeler later in terms of this idiocy. And furthermore, that Rana, it's such an athletic, flippy move. It's like he took that Japanese arm drag. He's just bumping for these guys in a way that the biggest golden gun in this match shouldn't do, in my view.
Well, I think again, it's attention to detail, realism, and making an effort to make the fans believe what you're doing.
Here's something I liked. Wheeler powders after that. Fuerza hits that dive that we set up earlier, the one that everyone is too intelligent for. But Wheeler got caught off guard. Fuerza uses momentum. Good. Fuerza hits that dive. Kaz hits a driver. That's fine. Good. He hits a dive, I should say, on both of them. Kaz is getting all the moments here once again.
Well, and this is the thing, too. I think he's a heel. But then even the announcer's saying that'll get Barrie
You're
wrestling
thinking
behind
too
you.
much even for
I can't not go there because I'm trying.
I've given
to
up on their
figure
being
out.
faces and heels.
I mean,
Just give up on it. It's over.
maybe I'll just give
All right.
up on it.
Fuerza takes control from the apron with a handspring cutter, standing shooting star. Wheeler waistlock switch. He waistlocks, but then he switches his grip and it just to me screams Iggy for a reversal. Like, why didn't you just go for the belly to back? But instead he goes waistlock. Oh shit, let's go belly to back. Okay, fine. That might be a mistake. I don't fucking know. Anyhow, that gets reversed. Fuerza lands on his feet in the reversal. Fuerza goes for the cutter. No, super kick by Wheeler. Do we got to double down here?
They both collapsed. So I think.
And here, just to say, I had to pause the video and stretch my hand from my note taking.
Well, I mean, yeah,
It was fast and furious.
Fuerza gives an Inzi, which gets Wheeler to sell into giving him a super kick, and they both fall down. Like that
And then
kind of
again, here
defies logic.
Next, we're seeing that Kaz is smart and Wheeler is dumb. Kaz in the corner. Remember, at this stage in the match, he's the freshest guy in the match. Wheeler points at him, the freshest guy in the match, from the opposite corner. Kaz isn't selling shit at this point. He's the freshest guy. And Wheeler points at him. Then Kaz, of course, fucking moves. Why wouldn't he? He's the smartest guy in this match. He's the most memorable guy. Wheeler, boom, he eats the post. Amazing technique on eating that post. Looked very convincing. I gotta assume the finish is coming with a big sell like that. It eliminates the big guy. You would think so, right, Runyan?
But it was not to be.
So moving on here. Fuerza, some cool acrobatics. A double sunset flip, which was very cool. Kaz runs into Fuerza's Spanish fly. Boom. Wheeler's fresh as a daisy now. He super kicks Fuerza into a full Nelson that gets reversed again. Remember, he just ate that big post. Now he's into the action, fast and furious again.
Right? Was this where we got the "This is awesome" chant?
It sounds like it might be around here.
Yeah, so the fans chanting "This is awesome," but I didn't think it was a really organic "This is awesome."
To me, it was a shame. It was a shame here because it really felt like the fans. These are super fans. This is a super indie promotion, and these are super fans, and they wanted to be involved, and they involved themselves. It was a masturbatory chant in order to involve themselves because the wrestlers were giving nothing for them to bite onto.
But there's no context. There's no emotional investment.
But the potential is there because the acrobatics is there, the crispness
Well, of
is there.
course, the
There's so
potential's
much
there.
good, great shit here that was just wasted.
And to prove this, though, too, so they chanted "This is awesome," and then Wheeler still had to rev them up by, clapping or, he was like pumping his fist or something like that to get them going. Like, if they're legitimately emotionally invested in it and they're chanting "This is awesome" and they're eating it up, you wouldn't have to do that. They wouldn't die off like that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And then, and eventually there's some back and forth that leads into a Skyfall on with Kaz.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't really go
Getting
into
the
much
1, 2, 3.
detail on the notes as you did,
Yeah.
because I mean, the thing is, it really didn't matter. It was just them doing stuff, you know.
Absolutely.
So
And
it
1,
was
2,
it was
3,
well
Kaz
executed. I'll
wins.
give you that. Yeah. So Wheeler wins,
Yeah.
and then Wheeler comes
Sorry,
over.
Wheeler wins. That's right.
Wheeler wins, and
With the Skyfall.
he goes outside and he puts the devil over for some reason. There's no context.
Let me paint
So
a picture for you who haven't seen this. The devil, whereas he's selling on the guardrail, he's leaning at the rail looking at the floor. And Wheeler comes over. I don't know if this was planned or what. He says something to Furza, pats him on the shoulder. And Furza totally big times him, jobs him out, doesn't even look at him. And Wheeler is showing him some respect. I don't know what story they were telling. I don't know what the purpose was. But it made Wheeler, the winner, look like a bitch. And that's that for that.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank goodness we're done.
I guess you didn't like it.
That's not my vote. I'll give you
I-
spoiler alert. That wasn't my vote.
I didn't vote for that one either, but it's
Tune in to the
a lot
next
to be
episode.
desired.
You're gonna find out which one is our true favorite and which ones don't stack up. Catch ya.